Hello fiber friends, and today we will be learning the Tunisian Crochet Honeycomb stitch. And much like any other fiber art, we will be starting with our slip knot, where you take your yarn, flip it over itself till you make an X, and you will hold that X in place, and with your index and thumb you will push it behind that loop that was just made. Pinch onto your working yarn, which will be attached to your big ball of yarn, and pull it through and tighten, and that is your slip knot. Today I will be using a 10mm Tunisian crochet hook, and that is just so that the stitches are easy to see while I'm working on them. So you place your hook or your loop on the hook and tighten that up. Now this stitch does require multiples of 2 plus 2 stitches. So whatever amount of stitches you want to make, all you have to do is add 2 extra, or just make sure that it's an even number. Just make sure it's an even number, because that is how this stitch will be worked. Today we will be doing 10 stitches, which is basically 8 for the pattern, and then that plus 2, which is 1 on each end. But we will be starting with 10 chains to get our 10 stitches. So then with our hook, we will take our yarn, pull or grab that working yarn with the crook of your hook right here and pull it through that loop. And that will be your first chain. I'm going to show that again. Grab your working yarn with the crook of your hook and pull it through that loop, and that is your second chain. And we're going to continue this until we have 10 chains. Okay, 10 chains. Now what we are going to do is we are going to flip over these chains right here so that we see all these little back bumps that have been created, and that's what we are going to work into. What we're going to do is we're going to skip that first bump right here that's immediately after this last loop, still on the hook. Skip that one and go into the second bump from the hook. Now I like to work with the tip of my hook right here, just because it makes it easier to slide it right in to that bump and push it through, because if you just push it through right here, it is too wide and too bulky. So just sliding it through from here and then going around just makes it a little easier. Then we will yarn over our hook, grab that yarn with the crook of the hook and pull it through that little black bump there. Now I'm going to show that again. The second bump, you will insert your hook into that bump right there, push it through, yarn over, and with the crook of your hook, pull that through that bump. And we're going to work that all the way down to the last little bump here. Okay, so then right at this point, because I want 10 stitches, we are going to count our loops on our hook just to make sure that we have 10 loops, which would be our 10 stitches. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. So we have our 10, which is perfect, exactly what I had wanted. And then what we are going to do is we are going to grab our working yarn with the crook of our hook, pull it through that first loop, just like that. And we're going to grab that yarn again with the crook of our hook, pull it through 2 loops. And we're going to continue to pull through 2 loops all the way down until you have 1 loop left on your hook. Okay. And this is how it will look. This is our foundation chain. Most Tunisian crochet will start this way. So as long as you've got this, you can start off any Tunisian crochet project that you would like to do. Now, this pattern is a combination of the Tunisian crochet purl stitches and Tunisian crochet simple stitches. If you would like to see what a full pattern worked in just one or the other of those stitches will look like, I will leave a link to those at the bottom in the description box. Just so that you can see that pattern. This pattern is a combination of both. And it's going to create this beautiful little honeycomb pattern by the end of it. So what we are going to do is we are going to skip our first loop. Now the first loop that's on our hook here already counts as our first stitch. So we will skip the loop that is on the outermost side. We're going to skip that one, and we're going to start with a Tunisian purl stitch, where you take your hook, bring it down so that the yarn is in front of your hook. Now, in that loop right next to that first stitch, the one that we skipped, you see this loop in the bar that's closest to you. You will insert your hook into that bar that's the closest to you. Now this strand of yarn is going to be in between those 2 little loops. What you're going to do is you're going to take that yarn, bring it down over this loop that you had just put on, bring it around to the other side of that loop, then around your hook, so that you can grab onto that piece of yarn with the crook of your hook and then pull it through that loop right there. That would be our Tunisian purl stitch. The next loop, which is the next one right here in the bar closest to you, you're going to insert into that bar. However, we're going to make sure that this piece of yarn is behind your hook, not in front of it, but behind your hook. So you'll insert in the bar closest to you, bring that yarn over your hook so that you can grab it with the crook of your hook and pull it through that loop. I'm going to show that again with the purl stitch because we're going to be alternating. So because we did this simple stitch right here, right afterward, we do the purl stitch. So we bring our hook behind our yarn, so the yarn is in front. That next loop right here, the bar closest to us, we will insert right there, bring that yarn down and around that bar we just inserted into, and then loop it around your hook. So with the crook of your hook, you can pull that yarn right through that loop. And then the next one, make sure your yarn is behind your hook this time. That bar that's closest to you, insert your hook right into there. Bring your working yarn down so you can grab it with the crook of your hook and pull it through. And you're going to continue that alternating stitch all the way down until we reach this last little stitch here. Okay, so we are at our last end stitch right here. It's gonna look always different than the rest of the loops, but you can see that loop right at the outermost part of your work, but you are also going to see this second bar of yarn that is running on the outermost side. Now that loop, we're going to insert our hook in the middle of that loop with the 2 bars of yarn on the outermost side, right there. Yarn over, and with the crook of your hook, you will pull through that end loop right there. Now, the return pass is going to be the same as our previous row, where you will take your yarn and with the crook of your hook, pull it through 1 loop, and then grab that yarn again with the crook of your hook and pull through 2 loops, and continue pulling through 2 loops until you only have 1 loop left on your hook. Okay, so this is how it's gonna look so far. Now we're going to start on the next row of this pattern. Now, much like our previous rows, we are going to skip this first loop right here, just because again our first loop on our hook counts as our first stitch. The next loop over. Now in the previous row we started with a Tunisian purl stitch. Now instead of the Tunisian purl stitch, we are going to be doing the Tunisian simple stitch into this one, and the next one will be the Tunisian purl stitch. It's the same stitches, but it's going to alternate in that different kind of way. So an easy way to tell which one is which, just in case you have to, put your work down for whatever reason and pick it up and it's oh my goodness, which row did I start on? We will look at the loop from the previous rows. You can see that this loop right here has a piece of yarn running through it, and that is how you can tell that you had worked a previous row of purl stitch. And this right here with no yarn line or bar going across it, that is your simple stitch. So that you can tell is your simple stitch, and the one with the yarn right across, going across like this, that is your purl stitch. Every purl stitch on your previous row is going to be worked in a simple stitch for the next row, and every simple stitch that was worked previously will have a purl stitch worked in this one. So what that's going to look like is, find that loop. This was a purl stitch, so we're going to work a simple stitch. What you're going to do is you're going to insert your hook into the bar that's closest to you. Make sure your yarn is behind your work, not in front. You will bring that over your hook, and with the crook of your hook, pull it through. Now this one, if you look at the loop that you're going to be working into, it doesn't have that bar. This was the simple stitch. You are going to now work a purl stitch. So now you bring your yarn to the front of your work. The bar that's closest to you, you will insert your hook into that bar, bring that yarn now around over that bar that you're working, pull it up and around your hook so that you can now grab that yarn with the crook of your hook and pull it through that loop. Again, this one right here, this loop, the next loop, we're going to be working in the bar closest to us, but you see this was a purl stitch before. Now we're going to be working a simple stitch. So you insert your hook into the bar closest to you, yarn over and pull it through with the crook of your hook. Now this one, this next loop here, obviously is or was a simple stitch, so now we are going to be working a purl stitch. So you bring your yarn in front of your hook. It's going to be in front of your work. Insert your hook into that bar facing you, that's the closest to you. Bring your yarn down and around again. And with the crook of your hook, pull it through that loop. And we are going to continue that all the way down to the end. So we are at our last end stitch. Now, usually the last one always looks a little funky. We're always going to try to, you can either stretch it out, or if you've got a good eye for this, that would be very, very helpful in this process. But you will find that loop right here and that bar that is extending to the outermost side. And that's going to stay on the outermost side. So now that I'm pulling it, you can actually see the loop and the bar right there. Once I let it go, it's still like that. It always wants to be in the center, but you want it on the outermost side. Insert your hook in the middle of that loop with the 2 bars on the outermost side. Yarn over your working yarn and pull that through with the crook of your hook. And this is how it looks so far. And we're going to repeat that pass, the back pass, where you take your working yarn into the crook of your hook, pull it through 1 loop, and you're going to grab that yarn again with the crook of your hook and pull it through 2 loops all the way down until you only have 1 loop left on your hook. Okay, this is how it looks so far. You can see a bit of the pattern starting to form. But what I'm going to do is, because these 2 rows are going to be worked repeatedly, I'm just going to work a few more rows off camera so that you can see a larger piece of this stitch. Ba-da-da-da. So this is the Tunisian Crochet Honeycomb stitch. You can actually see how it looks like a little honeycomb. It's a 6-sided honeycomb instead of an 8-sided honeycomb, but it's still pretty nonetheless. It drapes really well. There are some holes in this pattern design, but that is mainly because I used a 10mm crochet hook for this yarn that probably only needs about a 6, maybe 7mm crochet hook, Tunisian crochet hook. And that's just so that you could see the stitches while I'm working them. But this is a gorgeous pattern. It could definitely be used for a lot of clothing, garments. You can even make it like bag. If you have a bag with this pattern, that would be really nice. But yeah, this is a beautiful stitch. I think I've seen someone that's done a sweater with this stitch, and it is gorgeous. If you can find them on here, I would definitely recommend watching, just because I only saw the thumbnail and it was gorgeous in and of itself already. But yeah, I hope this tutorial has helped, and I hope you can make some really pretty things. Alright, happy crafting!